Marvel Studios has mastered the art of the cinematic universe. But what if I told you that some of the biggest moments in the MCU were actually teased years before they happened? From Phase 1 all the way to Phase 5, Marvel has been planting hidden clues, Easter eggs, and secret references that hint at future characters, major plotlines, and even shocking twists. Today, we're uncovering some of the most mind-blowing Marvel Easter eggs across every phase. Some you may have missed, and others that might just change the way you watch the MCU forever. Segment 1. Phase 1. The birth of the MCU's secret clues. Back in 2008, Marvel took a huge gamble by launching the MCU with Iron Man. But even from the very first film, they were already teasing the future. Let's look at some of the best hidden clues from Phase 1. Key Easter eggs and clues in Phase 1. Nick Fury's post-credit scene. Iron Man, 2008. When Nick Fury tells Tony Stark about the Avengers Initiative, it was the first sign that Marvel was planning something bigger. But even more interesting, behind Fury is a world map highlighting potential heroes like Wakanda and Atlantis. The Super Soldier Serum in The Incredible Hulk, 2008. Bruce Banner's experiment is tied to the same serum that created Captain America, subtly connecting their origins years before they'd meet in The Avengers, 2012. The Infinity Gauntlet in Odin's Vault, Thor, 2011. A fake Infinity Gauntlet appears in Odin's treasure room, teasing Thanos years before his full reveal. The Tesseract, Captain America, the First Avenger, 2011. The Space Stone was introduced under the name Tesseract, setting up the Infinity Saga long before Thanos appeared. At the time, most of these seemed like small details, but looking back, Marvel was already laying the foundation for the Infinity Saga. Segment 2. Phase 2. The Rise of Deeper. Foreshadowing. By Phase 2, Marvel wasn't just teasing individual characters, they were planting clues about massive future events. Let's break down some of the biggest hidden gems from Phase 2. Key Easter eggs and clues in Phase 2. Doctor Strange's name drop. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, 2014. When Hydra's algorithm mentions Stephen Strange, it confirmed that the Sorcerer Supreme already existed in the MCU 2 years before his movie was released. The Collector's Vault, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014, hidden in the Collector's Museum, a dark elf from Thor, The Dark World, Cosmo the Space Dog, and the cocoon of Adam Warlock, who wouldn't officially appear until Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3, Factorial Ultron's Vibranium clue. Avengers Age of Ultron 2015. When Ulysses Klaue is introduced, we see Wakandan markings, teasing Black Panther's debut 3 years in advance. The twins' post-credit scene, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, 2014. The introduction of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver wasn't just a teaser, it hinted at Wanda's reality-warping abilities that would later shape WandaVision. Phase 2 took Marvel's foreshadowing to a whole new level, setting up major characters and even hinting at cosmic storylines far beyond Earth. Segment 3. Phase 3. The ultimate payoff begins. Phase 3 was where everything started coming together. Almost every small Easter egg from the previous movies paid off in some way. Here are some of the most insane hidden details from Phase 3. Key Easter eggs and clues in Phase 3. The Sokovia Accords. Setting up future conflict. Captain America Civil War 2016. The government regulation of superheroes didn't just divide the Avengers. It set up the entire premise of Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Thor's vision of Ragnarok. Avengers Age of Ultron 2015. Thor's nightmare actually predicted everything that would happen in Thor, Ragnarok, the Quantum Realm, Doctor Strange 2016. During Strange's journey through the multiverse, we briefly see the Quantum Realm, a huge setup for Ant-Man and the Wasp and Avengers. Endgame, Red Skull's return. Infinity War 2018, a callback all the way from Captain America, the first Avenger, revealing he was trapped in Vormir, acting as the guardian of the Soul Stone. By Phase 3, Marvel had mastered long-term storytelling, and every small detail felt like a reward for fans who paid attention. Segment 4. Phase 4 and 5. The Multiverse and Beyond. After the Infinity Saga, Marvel took things in a new direction, setting up Kang the Conqueror, mutants, and even Secret Wars. But they've still hidden plenty of clues along the way. Key Easter eggs and clues in Phase 4 and 5. The TVA's tease of Kang, Loki, 2021. Even before we saw Kang, the TVA's design and sacred timeline hints all pointed to his arrival. The X-Men tease, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022. Professor X's return wasn't just fan service, it was the MCU's first official X-Men crossover. Namor and Atlantis, hinted in Endgame, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, 2022. Remember Okoye mentioning an underwater earthquake in Endgame? That was a hint at Namor and Talocan. With Marvel heading towards Secret Wars, who knows what clues they've already planted? Maybe we're missing a major Easter egg that'll only make sense in a few years. Segment 5. Phase 6 and Beyond. What could Marvel be teasing now? Marvel has been setting up the Multiverse saga, but what hidden clues might be teasing Phase 6 and beyond? Here are some of the most intriguing hints at the MCU's future. Potential future payoffs. Kang's multiversal web. Loki, 2021. Loki introduced the concept of timelines branching, which might be setting up the collapse of the multiverse in Secret Wars. The mutants are coming. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022. Professor X's cameo hinted that the X-Men are coming, but how? Galactus is already being teased? The presence of celestials and cosmic energy signatures could mean Marvel is setting up the arrival of Galactus. Marvel has always rewarded patient fans, so what's hidden in the latest movies that we haven't even noticed yet?